Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are a real estate agent, you want to have a listings based business and you want to be highly productive, profitable, and efficient, this video is critical for you. Very, very important. I'm going to take you through how to create a business plan. Now, I have it in front of me. This is the Sales X Training Business Plan, the one my clients use, and the business plan I used when I was selling real estate. Why this is so important. You may think, oh, a business plan, that sounds boring. I don't want to do that. Listen, you're in business, you're an entrepreneur. You cannot just haphazardly do whatever every day. You need a solid business plan. And this is actually written on here, and I want to read it to you. The purpose of a business plan is to give you a clear direction of what you're supposed to be doing every day. This is an annual business plan, but when you look at this, you know exactly what you got to do every day. And when you follow through that clarity that you have, what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to achieve your goals. I also recommend that every morning you create this plan, get a pen and paper because you're going to be writing a lot of stuff down. Every morning you look at your business plan briefly. Just it take 2 minutes. I'm not saying, oh, like it's not that complicated anyway. There's several pages, but it's pretty easy. But you have to look at it to remind yourself every day of what you're working towards and what you're supposed to be doing. A business plan is not like, oh, I created and I put it in a drawer and I'll look at it again when it's time to do the one for next year. No. Now, whatever time of the year it is when you're watching this, it really doesn't matter. You just adjust the numbers. It's annual, but it's okay. If we're halfway through the year, 3/4 through the year, you just adjust the total numbers. But it would be better. So initially, when you first created, it's middle of the year. Okay, fine, adjust the numbers. And then eventually, in around October, no later than the end of October, you already have your plan for the following year. Okay, so I'm gonna go through this with you and assume that, let's say, it's beginning or mid-October and you're creating your plan for the next year. And again, it doesn't matter if you're doing this halfway through the year, just adjust the numbers. This business plan is listings based. If you know anything about me, I want to stay away from working with buyers. Listings is what gives you control of your market, control of your time, control of your income, control of everything. So this is listings based. There are 6 parts to this plan. I'm going to take you through them. Part 1 is a recap of what you did the previous year. Now, some of you are brand new to real estate. So, well, I'm just starting. Okay, well, then obviously this doesn't apply to you. The first thing I want you to write down, even before you start this recap of the previous year, is just write down what is your income goal for the following year. How many closed transactions do you want to have? And what is going to be your income goal? Okay, your gross income goal, because we're going to talk about the expenses and how to take the gross, the net, whatever. So now, the reason why the recap of the previous year's production is so important, if you've been in real estate for a little while, is you can't change what you don't acknowledge. So recapping the previous year is putting right in front of you what you've done. So you can look at it and say, for example, wow, 80% of my business came from working with buyers last year and open houses. I don't want to spend my weekends doing open houses. I don't want to be running around with buyers. So what changes do I need to make? That's just one example. Another example could be that you look at it and say, wow, I had such a high percentage of my income be expenses. I had way too many expenses. So yeah, I grossed 200,000 as an example, but my net ended up being 60,000. I need to change that. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. So we're gonna start by acknowledging it. So there are 14 items. I'm gonna read them through you. I'm gonna read through these to you. Write them down, and then you could fill it out. Okay. The first one is you're gonna write down your gross income. So your gross commission income is number one. Number two, your total number of closed transactions. Then you're going to number three, write down how many pending sales, properties under contract will you have on December 31st. So again, assuming this is October, you're going to estimate how many pendings you will have on December 31st, and also you're going to estimate your number of closed transactions that you're going to end the year with. Number four is your average sales price. Number five is your average commission. Number six, your total number of listing appointments, meaning how many appointments did you go on? And then number seven, how many listings taken? Number eight, how many of your listings expired or canceled? Number nine, listings sold. Number 10, total number of buyer sales. 11, your active inventory on December 31st, you have to estimate. And number 12, your total business expenses, dollar amount. 13 is your pre-tax income, and 14 is your net income. This is very simple. Oh, I don't know any of this. You got to figure it out. You're in business. How would you okay, you don't know, it's fine, but you got to go get these numbers. This is critically important. Listen, when you look at it, I used to be very, I'm not an analytical person at all, but when I was selling real estate and I created my business plan, I was very analytical. I mean, these numbers had to make sense to me because I need to believe in my plan to be able to work towards it every day so I can achieve my goals. But look how important it is, knowing how many listing appointments you went on and how many listings you took. That's your closing ratio. Of all the listings taken, how many listings sold? It better be a high number because sellers are listing with you so you can sell their property, not just to sit on the market. So these are very important numbers to look at. And then you can look at the improvements you want to make. Wow, my closing ratio on listing appointments was low. I wonder why. Well, the plan is going to help you determine why and what changes you need to make. So sit tight. I'm going to take you through this whole thing. The second part of your business plan. So part one is your recap. Part two, what are the sources of your business in that previous year that you just recapped? Meaning, where did the business come from? So I have a few sources here. I'm going to write it down, or you're going to write it down. I'm going to read it to you. You're going to write it down. And then later you're going to fill in the number next to it. So first one is for sale by owners. Number two, expired listings, my two favorites. Number three, past clients. Number five, sphere of influence. How many transactions did you close from each of these? Number five, just listed, just sold, circle prospecting. Number six, referrals, agent to agent referrals. Number seven, sign calls, internet or social media. Next one, open houses. Next one, relocation. Next one, door knocking. And the last one is other. Is there something else? You get business from some other source that I didn't list here, you put it right there. So this is it. We've done the recap and we know the sources of the business that year. Now, part three, it's let's set your goals for the upcoming year. So in this part three, you're gonna set the goals based on what you desire to achieve. Later on, later on in the business plan, we're gonna determine how you're going to get there. What exactly do you need to do to get there? Okay, so right now we're just setting the goals. First goal you're gonna set is total number of closed transactions. How many homes do you want to sell and close? Number two, your gross commission income, your GCI. Number three, your total business expenses. You know, I it's fascinating to me because I've coached real estate agents for many years, one-on-one groups in all kinds of situations. And real estate agents spend way too much money. They have way too many business expenses, which is obviously not a good thing, because what's the point of having $1 million in GCI and having a net of 150,000? I mean, you're just spinning your wheels. I'm into, let's keep your expenses low. When I was selling real estate, my expenses were every year about 10%. My expenses was my coaching, some traveling to different training events that I attended, and that was about it. I mean, and you know, the company I worked for, the part they took, and that was it. So now, is that even possible? Absolutely, especially if you have a listings-based business and you're prospecting for it. You have, what expenses do you have? You're right now, you're gonna have the expense of your coaching, your training, and a company that's gonna give you phone numbers. I didn't even have that, because when I first started in real estate, these companies didn't exist, and then some started to pop up, but they weren't that good. So for you, if you do what I say, that's about it. It's going to be your coaching, training, your broker, and your source of phone numbers, and that's it. Where real estate agents are spending so much money on so much stuff that's really not, there's not a return on the investment that makes any sense. So anyway, number 4 on your goals is your net income before taxes. Number 5 is the total number of days you're going to prospect in the year. The minimum should be 220 days. Now think about this. There are 365 days in a year. Working, which equals prospecting, 220. It's like you have so much time off. What a great job. What a great career you have. The next number is the total number of listing appointments set for you. It should be a minimum of 1 per week, like minimum. If you're brand new, you have no idea what you're doing, minimum 1 a week. Number 7, the total number of listing appointments that you're going on. Again, minimum standard. If you're first time you're doing your business plan and you have no idea how to do this, minimum should be 50% of the appointments you set. You can cancel some, they could cancel some, no show, whatever happens, okay? At least half of the ones that you set. Total number of listings taken. Again, minimum standard, 50% of the ones you go on. And then your total number of listings sold. I'd say minimum here should be 75% of the listings you take. There is no reason why you should disappoint more than 25% of the people that list with you by not selling their home. Your job is to list properties. Your responsibility is to sell them. Number 10, your average sales price, and 11 will be your average commission. Now, number 12, I wish we didn't have to have this one, but we do. It's the total number of buyer sales. Now, when you generate listings, when you take listings, buyers are gonna come to you. Even if you don't want them, they're gonna come to you because your property is gonna be all online. You're gonna have signs in front of properties and buyers are going to come. My recommendation is from day one of your career, or if you've been in real estate for a while and you're watching this now, from now on, refer out all of the buyers that you have because you're gonna have a lot. Um, for every listing that you sell, you could expect to have a buyer sale. Refer them out, collect the referral fee, and keep focusing on taking more listings because that's what gives you, again, control of your business, control of your time, control of your market. Stay focused on prospecting for listings. If you start working with buyers, and some of you have been working with buyers for a while, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's very time consuming and you're going to be all over the place and you're not going to have the energy or the time to actually prospect for listings. So refer the buyers out. The next part of your business plan is you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like I know nothing about this, and 10 being I am an expert, I've mastered this. And these are, well, I'm going to read you what you're going to rate yourself on, and these are all critically important aspects of your self and your business for you to be incredibly successful at what you do. Number one is mindset. What's going on in your head, your ability to focus, your clarity of goals, your self-talk. How would you rate yourself on mindset? Number two, communication skills. You are in the business of communicating. You get paid when you communicate well and you're able to influence the people that you speak with. So your rating on this is probably, aside from mindset, one of the most important ones here. The next one is overcoming objections over the phone, on listing presentations, when you're getting price reductions, your overall rating on overcoming objections. How about closing? Closing for appointments and closing for signatures. Number five, for sale by owners. How would you rate yourself on your ability to convert for sale by owner conversations into listings and sales? Next is expired listings. Then comes language and influence skills. This is a little more specific than just general communication skills, okay? Language patterns and influence. Next one is market knowledge and statistics. How well do you know the real estate market, your local market stats, general statistics that involve real estate? Your listing presentation, rate yourself on that. Pricing, property, customer service, and business systems. So you're going to rate 1 to 10 each of these because your rating on here is going to help you determine the next part of your business plan, which is what changes do you have to make in order to achieve your goals. Again, the rating is part of acknowledging where you're at so you can fill the gap between where you are and where you're going. And filling in the gap is the changes you need to make. And I wrote down 10 of them. Put them in order of priority. When you look at your ratings, when you look at your goals, when you look at your recap, what changes do you need to make? List 10 things. Prioritize them. What's most important? Because everything you do is not equally important. We already know that. And then the last part of your business plan, we're almost there, is your daily schedule. Now, your daily schedule. from 8 a.m. until noon, you're going to create your daily schedule, right? Because you may have, when I started in real estate, I had two small kids. So I, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and I only prospected nights and weekends. That was my first 2 years, was just prospecting nights and weekends. I had to adjust. And I actually get a lot of questions on, I'm a part-time agent, I have a full-time job, how do I do it? Well, I did it. Oh, I have a family, I have small kids. Well, I do too. Listen, when you're determined, when you're committed, you find a way. It may be easier for some people that can spend all day, but maybe not, because a lot of agents, they're full-time real estate agents, and they're so inefficient. I started part-time nights and weekends, and I was really efficient because I had limited time. So whatever your schedule is now, ideally, if you're working real estate full-time, 8 a.m. till noon, you're going to be on the phone making calls, prospecting. There are lots of videos on my channel about who you should be calling and who you call first, who you call second, so browse the channel. You're going to find a lot of information that is helpful. Before you get on the phone to prospect, so before 8 a.m., you need to work on your mindset. You need to put great ideas in your mind. I said you need to review your business plan. That's only going to take a couple of minutes. You need to do some practice and role play, warming up for your calls. In the afternoon, you should follow up on your leads. You could spend an hour doing administrative work, no more than an hour. You're going to prepare for and go on listing appointments. If you don't have listing appointments in the afternoon, you could go door knocking. Get out there, see people, go door to door, go door knock the expireds on the do not call list, the FISBOs on the do not call list, the FISBOs and expires that didn't answer the phone in the morning, some hot leads you have that you weren't able to close for an appointment. Get out, go talk to people. That's the essence of your business plan. In the afternoon, if you're not on appointments, you need to be finding people that you could set appointments with. And the last thing I want to say, and it's kind of a repeat of something that I said to you already in the beginning, your business plan is something for you to look at every single day. If you create your plan, it looks great, and you don't look at it again until next year, it's useless. Don't waste your time. If your intention is not to look at it every day, well, you know what? This was a great video. I trust you got a lot of information, but don't waste your time completing it, because this is a document that all businesses look at it daily, and you could adjust it as well throughout the year. If you're ahead of your goal, yes, then you could readjust the plan. If you're behind on your goals, don't adjust your plan down, don't adjust the numbers down, change your behavior. That's what this plan is gonna help you focus and know what you're doing well and changes you need to make. It's not like, oh my gosh, I created this plan, I can't change it. Yes, you can if you're doing better than what the plan calls for. If you're not doing as well, adjust your actions. That's the point of all of this. I trust that this was helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, put them below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon.